and kind. And I mean, can I tell you about how I got clean?
Yeah,
Go
it'd be
for it.
great to hear that. Yeah.
I was about 21. I was in a police station in Brighton. I'd been nicking DVD box sets. It wasn't glamorous or organised crime. Very sort of, an expression of someone who's addicted to drugs and out of control. I got arrested, and I was in the police station. I was sat with this solicitor who told me that she used to have a gin problem but doesn't drink anymore. And I remember thinking that sounds like a really fucking nice problem. I'm a smackhead. But she was middle class.
Yeah, yeah.
And I remember she spoke to me with really kind and warm, endearing language, and she used words like sweetheart, love, and darling, and she would ask questions and then pause and just listen, and, pretty sort of standard stuff, but stuff that I hadn't really come up against for a while because, I was, probably not that approachable. And she just said to me, Ian, sweetheart, why are you living like this? And I just knew that it was safe to be honest. And normally, like, the bullshit would just flow out of my mouth. Well, that would probably represent a series of like justifications, minimizations, rationalizations, strongly connected to the mechanism of denial, that psychological coping strategy designed to keep us emotionally stable in unstable times, and it's a very powerful, construct for the addicted person, and often prevents them from, getting into recovery or moving towards truth. And I just, for some reason, this sense of care and compassion and kindness and her showing up as a human being just kind of bypassed that stuff. And I just remember looking at her thinking, I can be honest here, and I took a deep breath, sat back in my chair, and I just said, I don't want to live like this anymore. And it was the most honest thing I'd ever said to anyone in my life. The opposite to addiction is connection. And I mean like legitimate connection, not just a well-meaning relative on the sideline telling you to make better choices. I mean like somebody who, may have been there or has, the skills to, hold a space that is deeply compassionate, and kind, and